Hey, what's up, Internet? I recently replaced my old Harbor Freight welder with a newer model. It seems these things only last about 15 years. Yeah. What I'm going to show you is what this welder comes with, how it welds, and we'll see also if we can tackle this large gap. Stay tuned. Okay, this is the Flux 125. I bought a Harbor Freight for about $120 after tax. Here's the stats on the box. The main point is that you'll need a dedicated 20 amp outlet, and also that the metal should not really exceed, 3/16? I've welded half-inch flat bar to half-inch flat bar in the past with a near similar machine. It worked just fine, but I wasn't building anything that needed to call on like the entire strength limit of the half-inch steel flat bar. So yeah. Just keep that in mind, I guess. Okay, it comes with this face shield thing, and then the lens as well. It's a number 9 lens.
Number 9.
It just slides right in. A wire brush with like a knockoff tip for removing some of the slag, and a 1 pound reel of flux core wire that's 0.30. It's also got 2 tips, 0.30 in size. There's this sort of welding example thing. Yeah. That weld on the left is quite difficult to achieve with this welder. Practice is required for that kind of quality. Yeah. It's pretty good though, like this little card, if you're a noob. The manual too is also pretty good. The gun itself is attached to the machine, so no assembly there, that's cool. And the 0.30 tip is already loaded. You're gonna have to remove that to feed wire through it. Anyway, the ground clamp is also attached, so yeah, the machine is pretty well assembled already. Both cables are about 6 feet long, to include the electrical cord as well. There's a handle that comes with the welder, it needs to be attached, look at that. Yep. You can see it slides into 2 areas on the lid, and then the screw goes in here. Okay, for the tip on the gun, it says to pull it off, and I'm used to doing that. Like usually you can just pull it right off. It's got some friction, but mine was so hard here that I ended up just screwing it off because it just seemed right. Yeah, I think it's supposed to be able to pull off though. Oh well. The tip appears to have like gas channels too, but the welder does not have that capability. Okay, so that's what it comes with. I'm gonna load some wire. I've got this large reel of 0.35 flux core wire, and you can see me load it into the machine here. The spool wire is about 4 years old. It's still kicking strong. Yeah, not bad. I like the design in the welder where like the reel sits horizontally instead of vertically. Yeah, the older style was vertical, and that's actually where it broke, like the pin that holds the spool. Anyway, the install process is pretty straightforward. Tension of all of the stuff there is also discussed in the manual. It's pretty easy to follow. And also, yeah, the cheat sheet shows it as well. Here you can see I have some 0.35 tips I had to change out. And yeah, let's take a listen as to what it sounds like when you're feeding wire through. Oh, there you go. Yeah. A new reel of wire is installed. Here I put the screw into the actual handle for the machine. Oh yeah, I mentioned that earlier. And yeah, I really like how the lid closes. It's a good design overall. Yeah, good updates compared to the old model that I had. Here you can see me adjusting tension per the literature that comes with the machine. Yeah, you know what? Let's do some pros and cons. Okay, pro cooling fan. That's nice. I had to upgrade that on my old welder because it would overheat like quite a bit. But this one comes with a fan stock. Pro, I use the welder a lot. Like I'm well past its duty cycle and I have yet to make it actually overheat. But I'll follow up that with a con. It has a duty cycle of like 20% or something. And that's usually the case with many of these 110 or 120 volt smaller welders from different brands as well. But yeah, I didn't suffer any limitations in the duty cycle area. Con, this thing is heavy. And that's usually a con for all welders, you know. Maybe they're going to end up helium injecting them so they make them lighter or something. I don't know, that doesn't make sense. Pro, rubber feet. They are robust and they securely hold the welder. They don't feel like they're just going to rip off, and I definitely put them to the test there. Pro, nice price. Pro. It's inexpensive, totally worth the money. Yeah, it's like a disposable camera. You know, you use it once and it's done. But in this case, I can actually keep using it even though I'm done with it. because I was building my gate. Con, it uses a lot of current, possibly. Yeah, so if you have like a regular house outlet that you're using, that's not good. It needs to be like a 20 amp circuit. This is according to the paperwork. Yeah, and for all the welding that I've done with the machine, building my gate recently, I was using my 30 amp 110 outlet from my motorhome, yeah. Pro, you can weld in the wind. Sort of. I mean, not like a hurricane or anything, but since the flux core is flux core, it's able to weld even if there's a wind or a breeze. Yeah, at least better than a gas shielded welder. Yeah. Con. It's a pro and a con. The warranty is 90 days. You can get an extended warranty. But yeah, 90 days isn't so bad. I mean, maybe it'll break in the first 3 months, right? Pro, it comes with absolutely everything you need to start welding right out of the box. You should probably, though, get gloves and like a respirator. And yeah, if you want to just rough it, though, this whole setup just works. All right, let's use this thing. So here you can see I'm working on my gate, which is now done. Actually, it's completely done. Yeah, the welder did a great job. In that it was, I think, the absolute right tool for me because of the price and like usability outdoors and like breezes and the wind and stuff. And just mainly the price though. $110, $120 after tax. It's not bad. Sometimes they got coupons and these things are like $100. Here I used my Ryobi reciprocating saw to cut out a piece of this tubing and start welding it back together after making a 90-degree like angle there. And the welder worked. It works just like my old one, actually. It feels really familiar. This was actually the first weld I did with the welder. And, as for the face shield that the welder comes with, if you have to hold that, it'll make you not want to weld with this welder. It takes an entire hand to hold it. And then you're left with just one hand to weld. And it's just really not a good way to do welding. So you can see I've got this sweet Miller Elite welding helmet that I got at the thrift shop for $6. Oh man, yeah, that's right. Goodwill for the win. All it needed was batteries. And it was like a little scratched up, but man, score. And you can also see, I got a respirator on and a fire extinguisher nearby because safety, right? The welder did really good for my entire project, but let's challenge it with this enormous gap. So the shield that the welder came with, I mounted in front of my camera, and let's take a look at what goes on behind the glass. Yeah, and just keep in mind this gate is like ornamental mainly, and support structurally is secondary. It's not built to hold weight beyond the tension from like the wind. And like the weight of the fence boards that'll be mounted on it, and also just the weight of itself. So I'm not worried that the welds are not up to like the strength specification of a hydraulic ram mounting bracket for a backhoe boom or something crazy. These welds will do absolutely fine with regard to what this gate needs as strength. And now I did grind down the face of this weld, so you're not going to see it before, like in all of its nastiness. But yeah, look at that. Not so bad. So is it good or is it bad? You decide after I decide. And all in all, this welder's good. I suggest it for projects like this gate or maybe outdoor welding stuff. I do not suggest it if you need like pretty looking welds or if welding really thick metals or also really thin metals like body panels on cars. It's probably not the best idea. You probably just burn right through that stuff. My top suggestion regarding buying one of these things is to also get an actual like face-mounted, welding helmet. That's the word. And a respirator, because there's no sense in directly breathing the fumes that is created by this machine. Like there's just no positive impact to your health from that. Also gloves and other protective things like the leather arm sleeves or an apron. That'd be good. You will get sunburn if you're exposed to the weld light, and that's not good. Do not weld without a mask, and do not look at the weld. Don't do that. Okay, if you have just broken something outside of your house, like, I don't know, a fence or something, like a piece of some metal, and you want to weld it back together, and maybe you've got like a quote from a company to repair it, and it's a lot of money, and you don't like that because it's a lot of money, maybe you can do it yourself. I don't know. Another pro about just flux core welders entirely is that you don't really have to prep the metal like you do with other gas welders. Yeah, the weld doesn't look the prettiest, but it does hold, and yeah, it works. So anyway, make safety your number one priority, and you should be good to give it a shot if you've got that thing that you want to fix or even make. There's also a really big point I want to make, and I didn't know where to put this in the video, but if you have never welded before and you do not have someone like teaching you how to weld, you should really, really find a video online that shows you how. That's really good at instruction or something, because I just looked at other reviews of this welder to try to see if I missed something or anything like that, and just there's not really that good of quality videos out right now about it. And the welding techniques that I saw people using in their videos was just horrific. Like there's one guy like pulling, it's just so bad. He's just like spattering slag all over the place. It didn't make any sense. Anyway, please search how to weld before you try to start welding, because there's so much good content online regarding this. Or at least read the instructions, because if you do that and then follow them, you'll have a better chance at success. Anyway, I'll be working on more videos regarding my gate and how I designed it. And it's done now. Like you press a button and it opens. It is nice and it's working great. Anyway, I hope that helped. See you later, Internet.